So, we are on Monday night shiur. We're Erev Rosh Chodesh Tammuz, the eve of Chodesh Tammuz. We know from the Ari Kadosh that the 12 months are split between male months and female months. The months from Nisan till Elul, including Elul, are called female months, Nekeva. Anyone born in those months, they have more of a intuition and more of a drive to enjoy. Let's call it like that. To enjoy. Whoever is born in the months from Tishrei until Adar, not including Adar Bet. Tishrei to Adar, those are called the months of Zachar. Okay? Adar Bet is a special month that only happens every 3 or 4 years, and it's Keneged the Zachar and the Nekeva.
Only special people born.
It's Keneged Zachar and the Nekeva. Adar Bet we're not going to talk about. Adar Bet is on one level higher than all the months because it includes all the months. On one level it's lower than all the months because it could only happen if the Chachamim decided. Not if Hashem. Hashem gave the power to the Chachamim to decide there's going to be an Adar Bet, a second Adar. Like we know, today, it was actually today's Chok L'Yisrael. 6 things the King Chizkiyahu HaMelech did, 3 things the Chachamim agreed, 3 things they didn't agree. One of the things they didn't agree with him, when his father died, the King Achaz, he was a very powerful king, but he made very big averot. His father, Chizkiyahu, was supposed to be Mashiach. The Gemara says it. It's not even some kind of midrash. The Gemara, Sanhedrin. He was able to force, keyword force, all Jews to become religious.
Chizkiyahu.
Yeah, Chizkiyahu HaMelech. His father, Achaz. Yeah, Achaz, he did a couple of things when he became king. He was 20, I think he was 20 years old, something like that, when he was king. The first thing he did is he closed the Beit Midrash. He said no more, back then, like public school, it was yeshiva school, it was like public school. Free education in yeshiva. He closed that up and he said either you pay for it or you go find a trade. You gotta learn how to work. He closed the yeshivot. And during his days was the first time after David HaMelech, his great grandfather, the Palestinians, the ancient Palestinians, the Plishtim, raised up their head and said they defeated the forces of Judah, Yehuda. So Achaz, when he died after I think 16 years of reign. I think he was like 36 or 46 years old. I don't remember exact dates. One of those dates, 36 or 46. When he died, his son, he was a big Rasha, but at the same time he has Chelek Le'olam Haba. He wasn't as bad as the Kofrim. When he died, his son Chizkiyahu or Yechizkiyahu, one of the bad things that he did, there was an Avodah Zarah at that time called Molech. Molech, Mem, Lamed, Chaf, also could be read as Melech. This Avodah Zarah called Molech, there's 2 versions of what it is. Either one was that there were 2 rows of fire and the priest would take, or the father would take his son and walk through the 2 rows of fire. This is according to Rashi and the Rambam. That's how they learn what Molech is. And Hashem says, I hate this Avodah Zarah worse than anything else. The Ramban says it's not that the Avodah Zarah. It's not that they would walk through the 2 rows of fire. Rather, there was a certain contraption made out of steel with the face of a bull and its 2 human hands sticking out, and they would burn it and they would light it on fire. Metal is flammable. And they would burn it, and then they would put the kid on the 2 hands till it would melt to death.
In their hands?
In the hands of the Avodah Zarah. So what happened, whatever cases, Achaz Melech Yehuda, that was the kind of Avodah Zarah, and usually it would be the firstborn son they would put. Kind of like a sacrifice to find favor in the hands of the Avodah Zarah. I was listening to a shiur today. Somebody get me back to this after I tell you the shiur I heard today. All that. Before I start, the shiur is Yilun Nishmat Neria ben Svetlana Ruach Hashem Tenicheu Began Eden Amen. And also Lezecher Yosef HaTzadik. Tomorrow night is your site. Yosef HaTzadik. May we all be zocheh by the end of our lives to be mitaken our yesodot and be mizakeh the Noam Ziva Elyon. So the Chizkiyahu HaMelech, I heard a shiur. So the shiur go and like there's a certain rabbi. He lives in Israel today. He's a Nazir. A Nazir means that he took upon himself forever to be a
Priest.
not a priest. Priest is a kohen.
He's higher.
Kohen has to cut his hair. He must. He's not allowed to go inside with he's not allowed to work with. A Nazir is a person who took upon himself never to cut his hair today, and never to drink or eat anything that comes from grapes. Okay? There's a Nazir Shimshon. No, meat is allowed. There's a Nazir Shimshon, there's a Nazir Olam, there's a Nazir Yamim, there's a couple of kinds of Nazirs. Today, since we have no Beit HaMikdash, a person takes upon himself the Nazirite, the Nazir, we talked about this 2 weeks ago, I think. He has to be a Nazir forever.
The king's crown.
Alright? It's the highest crown, higher than the king's.
King's crown.
It's the crown. The Keter of Keters. Like Shimshon. Right? And we said specifically, it's the hair on the head. It's not the hair of the beard or the hair of the body. It's specifically the hair on the head. Right? Because usually human beings, right? We gotta take the Ariya Kadosh should take a haircut every Friday. No matter what. Cut his nails every Friday and take a haircut every Friday. Right? Because we're connected a certain aspect that our hair is din. Right? But a Nazir, his hair is chesed, total chesed. It's lavan. Total lavnuniyot. That's why when a person starts to get older and he starts to get white hair, he has to revel in that fact. He has to love the fact that he's getting white hair. Why? The white hair is the secret of skenut. Skenut, in the goyim's world, when a person is getting old, you can't party anymore, you can't have fun anymore, you can't go to clubs anymore. You're an old man. In Judaism, the Mekubalim used to bless people. They blessed me with the highest blessing. You know what they used to say?
Your white hair.
May you merit to be a zaken yoshev b'yeshiva. May you merit to reach an old age and sit in yeshiva. What else? What are you going to be old and sit in the park and play sheshbesh? Those guys sitting playing sheshbesh in the park, you know how rich they are? You think they need it? You think they want? You think they care? All day they're playing sheshbesh. Sheshbesh, chess, checkers, whatever you name it, that's what they're playing. My son got a checkers box. Abba played with me. It's 16 years since I played checkers. I haven't played checkers in 16 years. I don't even remember how to play. I was asking him the rules. I don't remember how to play checkers. He's playing with checkers and I'm in the middle of playing. I'm like, I have a certain code I have to learn today. I said, I have to learn. Then I said to myself, well, how can I turn the playing of the checkers into Kedusha? How can, in the middle of playing checkers? What is this for you? I said, how am I going to turn checkers into Kedusha? I said, simple. In my head, I said, my esek in playing checkers, to play with Yeladai, besod zivug, chokhmah ubina, because I'm a parent. I'm the chokhmah and the bina. Now chokhmah and bina in the Kabbalistic world is represented by the names Ekyeh and Havaya. So I said, in my mind, I thought of the zivug of Ekyeh and Havaya. Yud, Aleph, K, Vav, Yud, K. And then I said it should be Shefa to my son, which is considered the last 7 sfirot of Zun. You understand? Which is Yud, Aleph, K, Dalet, Vav, Nun, K, Yud. Then I thought of his name, and guess what? He started to beat me. I'm serious. We were down 1 king to 1 king, and he almost won. Couldn't let him win. The Gadaev's power. It's not going to happen. So, but whatever the case was, well, you could turn any avodah into kedusha. You could turn any avodah into kedusha. For example, you're throwing out the garbage. Your wife said, go throw out the garbage. You could turn that into higher than limud gemara. I'm not even talking Kabbalistically. I'm talking in the sense of even Hasidic. The Rebbe Mikomarna says you could turn. There is a story from the Baal Shem Tov HaKadosh. There were Baal Shems. They used to call themselves Baal Shems. Rabbi Yoel Baal Shem, Rabbi Eliyahu Baal Shem. They knew the secret of how to use Kabbalah Ma'asit. Kabbalah Ma'asit.
Practical.
Now I remember what I started to talk about now that I said that. So the Baal Shem. Why is he called Baal Shem Tov? There was Baal Shems. Right? How come he was called Baal Shem Tov? Why? He was the only one who used just Shem Havaya. All the other Baal Shems just used to use all the names. Kabbalah Ma'asit. Everything. They used to use how to do this, how to do that. Don't think just the Sfaradim know how to use all these things. In Ashkenaz, for example, the Baal HaRokeach, the book Raziel HaMalach, the book, people think it was written by Adam HaRishon. Nonsense. Adam HaRishon didn't write anything, and if he did, we wouldn't have that book today. Okay? The book Raziel HaMalach was written by a rabbi in Germany. His name was Rabbi Elazar Baal HaRokeach. He's one of the greatest poskim. He's written in the Bet Yosef. He's quoted by the Bet Yosef many times. Rabbi Elazar Baal HaRokeach, he wrote Sefer Raziel HaMalach that Eliyahu Hanavi taught him that the Malach Raziel taught Adam HaRishon. Do you understand what I'm saying, Rabbi say? So in Ashkenaz and all these places, they used to have Masorets, right? People think in Kabbalah there's only Ari HaKadosh. Only Ari and that's it. The box is closed. The Ari is maybe 10% of all the Kabbalah that we have. Maybe 10%. I'm giving him a big number. What's the difference between the Ari and all the other Kabbalahs and all the other secrets of the Torah? The Ari he wrote it in the clearest and most understandable Lashon, and nothing was Ma'asi. What's Ma'asi? Practical. Everything was Kavanot, Yehudim. That means there is no backlash. Why? If I do, for example, let's say I want to make it in somebody's house, Shalom Bayit. Shalom Bayit. It says, in our house, I come home, I love my wife, but every time I come home, Tarto Falom, they say in Buhari. Every time there is Janjo. So the normal person will say, listen, change yourself. Go to Shalom Bayit classes. But the guy says, I love my wife. There's nothing, it's like, I just don't get along with her. She loves me, I love her, we need each other, we want to. We have 5 kids together, but we just don't get along. So they go to the Shalom Bayit classes, nothing works. Doesn't work. They try to change it. They just can't. So they go to a Baba. The Baba, he asks for $100 an hour. He says, oh, listen, you're fake. You don't ask for money. So then they open up a book of Rav Yitzchak Kaduri. Rav Yitzchak Kaduri is good? Good? I think so, right? Rav Yitzchak Kaduri, he has a book, 6 volumes. All things that he tried on people that worked or didn't work. So he sees over there is a Shalom Bayit problem in a person's house. I'm not going to tell you the whole thing right now, but let's say you take a cup of water and 7 matches, and say you light the match, and you say, this fire is the etch in the house, and I'm putting it in the water. It should drown in the water, in the chesed. Like this 7 times, you take it, you spill it in the front of the house. Now, if I say this to a regular guy out in the street, what is he going to say? Close L'Shem Torah and inspiration, they're crazy, they lost their rockers, they're finito. Why? They said, well, there's no such kind of thing as kishuf today. No such kind of thing that I could, in a dark way, ruin somebody else's life. What's your proof? How do you know that these things don't exist? How do you know? How do you know? Oh, Rav Ovadia said, the Rambam said, this said. In our Shulchan Aruch, talks about Hilchot Kishuf. That through certain, the Ben Ish Chai HaKadosh says that in Baghdad, they used to take salt and water, they used to take water and salt, mix it, then they used to spill it on the floor, and they used to say, may so and so happen. in Baghdad. And the Bani Ishchai says whoever does that, he's doing korban to shedim. So who's to say that today this doesn't work, especially in Israel with the Arabs? Do you know Arabs? Aravim.
They begin this.
The Ishmaelim are cousins, quote unquote. They're not our cousins, by the way. Those Ishmaelim in Gaza, in Jenin, in al-Fahim, those guys are not Arabs. Those guys are Edomim, Yevanim, Romeim that stayed in Israel from the time of the destruction of the first Beit HaMikdash. They still had a Yad Vashem, Chas Shalom Yad Vashem, but they still had a hole in Eretz Yisrael. They never left. They had a place all the time over there. You know Saudi Arabians, they hate Palestinians. They hate them.
Where did they come from?
Huh?
So-called Palestinians. Where did they
From
come
Turkey, from Greece, from Constantinople. Yes. They've always been
I
there.
thought it was 300 years ago they came.
They come in from 300 years ago. From Jordan. Jordanians, they're Arabi. If you open up any Tanakh, Jordan is what? Ammon and Moab. How they have blue eyes, green eyes, light hair. Where does all these things come from? This is the same descendants from all this. The same descendants that have been away. It's the same people. You understand? What we're the same people. This is our Satan. Open up the book of Nehemiah and Ezra. Nobody learns the book of Ezra and Nehemiah. Nobody. Open up the book of Ezra and Nehemiah. They've been there from the beginning. They've never left.
So they have a right claim, no?
What do you mean? Oh, they have a right claim if we follow the usual saying of the world. I conquer, I win. But Hashem said, Bereshit bara Elokim. Why did Hashem say it? First Rashi in the Torah. I brought down this world, this Torah, to tell you one thing. If the Goyim will tell you it's their land, I'm telling you, no, I'm the creator. And I say it's yours. And when Ben Gurion came to everybody knows this story. What did the first thing he picked up? A Tanakh. He picked up the Tanakh. And all the Likudnikim in Israel, what do they say? Tanakh. They don't keep the Torah. But Tanakh, they say. Now, if you learn Tanakh without learning Mishnah, Gemara, and Halakha, go figure. But I'm telling you right now, the greatest book in the world, first of all, the best-selling book in the world, is not the Torah, the Tanakh. And it's our problem. We don't learn the Tanakh. You understand? I'll give you an example. Later. I'll give you an example. I had a person call me up. A couple of weeks ago, called me up. He said, Rabbi, he works in the city. When he works in the city, he takes off his kippah. Now, a couple of years ago, I wouldn't understand. Today, I understand it a bit. There's a lot of mishigas going on here. Listen, I wouldn't take it off, but he took it off. Getting him cups of food, a little bit cups of food, I'm going to give him. Takes off his kippah, but he's totally religious. 100% observant. He's on the train. One guy comes up to him. One guy.
Without a kippah.
What do you mean without a
No, the
kippah?
guy was with the kippah or no?
The guy who comes up to him is without a kippah.
No, that guy that you're talking about,
Yeah.
no kippah.
No kippah, nothing.
Somebody came to him.
But he looks like a idiot.
Okay.
The guy comes up to him. Do you believe in Yeshua?
Open the door.
Do you believe in Yeshua? He's like, yeah, I went to school with him. Yeshua. He doesn't know what the guy wants from his life. True story. He tells him, no, I'm talking about the salvation. Yeah, of course you believe in salvation. Matzmiach here and Yeshua. He says it with a Sephardic accent, Yeshua. No, Yeshua. Kakoy Yeshua. He said, the Messiah. Kakoy Messiah. He's like, he already came. He says, listen, this is news to me. I've been waiting for 2,000 years over here for the Mashiach. And he starts to tell it. He opens up the book. They love the book of Isaiah. 53. Isaiah 53. Their favorite one. Isaiah 53 and Daniel 10 and 11. Yeah, the three favorite chapters. It's like, oh. And then he's opening the book. And he's saying, look, the prophet said he's going to have a son called, the prophetess is going to have a son called Emmanuel in the time of Yeshaya HaNavi. And the guy doesn't know what to answer him back. He calls me after and he's perplexed. He's like, I didn't know what to tell him. He's like, I tell him, listen, do you believe anything? He's like, of course not, but what do I say back to these people? I'm like, first of all, you have yourself to blame. Who told you never to open up a book of Yeshaya and Navi? Why did Nevi'im and Ketuvim become a thing for women? In the yeshivish world, men don't learn Nevi'im and Ketuvim. They just learn Gemara, Halakha. Women learn Nevi'im and Ketuvim. So you out there in the real world, this kind of Michigan comes to you, open up a book of Yeshaya and Navi. You don't even know your own Navi. He said, listen to me, I told him. Isaiah, when did he prophesy? Before how many years? 2,000 years of the second temple destruction? He prophesied 2,600 years before that. You're telling me Isaiah prophesied, this is just the first level, about a guy who's going to be born 600 to 800 years. Till today, nobody knows when he's born, by the way. They say between 70 to 300 years after the Khurban Beit HaMikdash. You're telling me he prophesied? It's like me saying, the stock market is going to go up after 600 years. You're going to tell me, listen, I'll rather take my chances listening to my own economists over here. You're telling me that Isaiah prophesied that in 700 years, a guy is going to be born, and his name is going to be Emmanuel. First of all, his name was not Emmanuel. His name was Yeshua. That was his... What did they do? They changed the translation from Emmanuel to Yeshua. That means half of the things they say, all you need to know is regular Hebrew. And you just disprove them like that. In Judaism, it's different. If a prophet says, I'm giving you a sign, it's going to happen in 10 years from today. You know what we tell them? Take a hike. You're fake. Tomorrow we want to see the sign. Tomorrow. There you go. Tomorrow we want to see the sign. We want to see tomorrow. We don't want to see in 10 years. We're not going to believe you. And what's the proof? Haraya? Look, we talked about this. We're getting back to the Parashat. We're getting ready to the Parashat. The Haftarah. The Jewish people asked Shmuel for a king. Shmuel was very upset. They didn't need a king, by the way. They didn't need one. Let's give Kaf Zechut to Am Yisrael. Why did they want a king? To be Mekayim, the last 3 mitzvot in the Torah, to have a king. So, Shmuel said, you want a king? I'm going to teach you right now a lesson. You made a mistake by asking a king. What's the proof? It was summer, not a cloud in the sky. I'm going to pray to Hashem right now. The clouds will come. It's going to be pitch black. And it's going to be thunderstorms like you never heard before in your life. He davened. Next moment, the skies were black in the middle of summer. Tammuz, the hottest day. Boom! Am Yisrael we're talking about. They fell on their face. They said, Hashem hu Elokim. Hashem hu Elokim. That's a prophet.
So I didn't see
Moshe Rabbeinu said, Korach, you say your thing. I'm telling you right now, Hashem is going to create something. And at that moment, Hashem opened up. We don't want your prophets. In 600 years, a man is going to be born. And his name is going to be... Thank you very much. In 600 years, I could also prophesy stuff. You know why? I'm not going to be here, so go catch me. You understand? And that's why till today, they're waiting for the second coming. You know that, right? He's going to come back, they say. Where is he? The resurrection of what? The Jewish people's resurrection? Where is he coming back to? You understand? I'm going to tell you something right now. It's a chiddush. It's a chiddush. You guys don't know this. I've said this before in my shiurim. Catholics are not our enemy. They're not our enemy. The Protestants are. The American Kritmachs are. You know why? They believe until most Jews don't accept Oto Aish, he's not going to come back to the second coming. That's why they love Israel. You know how much money they give to Israel? They almost opened up a channel in Israel called God TV. 3 years ago. God. We're breaking them here. Is it? They want it, and it's all in Hebrew to missionize, to bring Jews to Oto Aish. I'm gonna connect this all to Korach, by the way. I'm gonna connect this all to Korach. So back to the Parashat, after we took a nice detour to mention our biggest enemies, not Ishmaelim, but Shover Oivi Umachnia Minim, not Zaydim. Minim.
The Protestants?
The Protestants.
Don't they love us?
Don't they love us? Why? Why? They love
They
us.
do that a lot.
Yeah, out of mamish, out of love. Yeah, they really believe. They believe in Israel, by the way.
They believe in that.
Yeah, they believe in everything. They believe in everything. Do you know Benjamin Franklin? Do you know what he wanted to make on the United States dollar? Moses opening the sea. Do you know the original language in America was supposed to be Lashon HaKodesh? Yeah. What? Yeah, that was supposed to be the original language. There was a whole fight between the founding fathers, and at the end, Latin won. Baruch Hashem.
If you go to the big colleges, Yale, Princeton.
Yeah. Urim the Tumim. Yale is the original insignia.
Moses,
You
you
have
have
to
to
learn
put
Hebrew.
them most of the tablets.
The original insignia of I think Yale is Urim the Tumim.
To get into Yale, you have to learn Hebrew.
Why is it Baruch Hashem?
Huh? Why isn't it Baruch Hashem? Urim Tumim means it opens up the hidden parts. So the colleges were opening up the hidden parts of life. But the founding John Adams wrote very beautifully about the Jews, but then he wrote at the end they have to convert.
Now that part I didn't read.
Yeah. John Adams, the second president of the United States, he wrote very beautifully about the Jews. They brought culture to the civilization. At the end, then they have to convert. These were the original Protestants.
They did
The Catholics are not against. The Catholics are against our bodies, not our souls. The Protestants want us to convert. They're the missionaries. They're the ones going on with all this. When you say Baruch Atah Hashem, Shover Oivi Umachnia Minim, that's the kavanah. You have to have one then. They're the ones, not Ahmadinejad, not the Palestinians. Those are just a stick in the hand of Hashem. They're, like the Navi Ovadiah says, and the house of Yosef will be a spark, and the house of Yaakov will be a fire, and they will burn the house of Esav. And then Kila Hashem HaMelucha. Only then. Okay? Until then, Mashiach will not come, nothing will happen. The house of Esav must fall. And we're sitting in the house of Esav. And now we're not just sitting in the house of Esav, we're sitting in the capital of Esav. Washington, D.C. is not the capital of Esav. New York. New York is the capital of Esav. Here's all the money. Here's all the business. Here's everything in New York.
New York owned by Jews. So much is right. I mean, yes.
80% of Jews didn't leave Mitzrayim. What you want to say? What are you going to say? What are you going to say? I'm pretty sure you're going to leave out of here. I want to ask you a question. Let's say you own 3 houses, 2 apartments, and one very good business over here. And Mashiach is going to come. Ani, poor, rochev al chamor. He was with you in high school. And he says, guys, tomorrow is going to be so and so. I'm a prophet, by the way. Hi, shalom aleichem. And I'm a prophet. Tomorrow, a pink rain is going to come. Pink. And mamash, pink rain comes. Then he's like, oh, by the way, guys, pack your bags. We got to go.
Yeah.
You going to go?
Yeah.
That's why the Khatam Sofer said, don't buy a house in Putz La'aretz. Do we buy? Yeah.
Do we build?
Do we build? Yeah.
Still eating on rent.
Are we ready? That's the kasha. Are we ready? That's the kasha. Oh, you're a tzaddik yesod olam. Forget about it. Yeah, Mekubad, he's a miyached, not a Mekubad, miyached. He's miyached Yehudim. Guys, let's just say one chidush on Korach because we digress into...
Molech.
Who's thinking about Molech already? We already passed Molech. It's like a shir on Gemara over here, but an Agadah. Yeah, so Molech, back to Chizkiyahu HaMelech. Chizkiyahu HaMelech, he was a Mashiach Yisrael. I want to say, one point, whoever learns Tanakh, especially if you learn Sefer Melachim, in the book of Melachim, we learn about Chizkiyahu HaMelech. He was supposed to be Mashiach. We all know this. The Gemara says this. He was supposed to be Mashiach Tzidkenu. And what happened was, after he defeated Sancheriv, which was Gog uMagog, Because as I asked my Rebbe, I said, when Russia was invading Ukraine, everybody was going crazy. They're gonna pass what was that strait called again? Dardanelles? That strait. There's like between Turkey and in the Mediterranean. The Gra says, if the Russian warships pass this, wear your Shabbat clothes, right?
Yeah.
And I think they actually passed it, the Russian warships, and Turkey closed it. And I called my Rebbe up. He's a very big tzaddik. Very young, but very big tzaddik. And I asked him, I said, what do you think about it? He's like, until you don't see the nations of the world marching on Yerushalayim, keep your Shabbat clothes inside your closet. When they start marching on Yerushalayim, then we'll talk. Because and he's right in a sense. We love to get excited of all these things. The Shir Hashirim says, the Jewish people, they love to get excited, and they love to, and then, not that they love to, but they always get disappointed at the end. And what's our beauty? Our azut. We're stiff-necked. Even though we fall, we still have emunah. The next step, the next chance. Chizkiyahu HaMelech, the Navi, the Rashi says over there, he's quoting a medrash, that he messed up big time. Not only did he didn't sing a song when Sancheriv died, after Sancheriv died, he was supposed to die himself. Why? He didn't get married.
All right.
Remember, he didn't get married.
Sancheriv?
Yeah, no. Sancheriv was shish kebab already. Shish kebab he was already.
He said, "Give me a chance to marry your daughter."
Yeah, right. He told Yeshayahu Hanavi. He said, "Marry your daughter." And he did marry her at the end, right? And I think her name was what was her name? I think Tivia or something. I don't know, something like that. So whatever case was, he wanted to. The Navi says you got to get married. It doesn't work like this. If you're not married, if you don't bring kids, you're finished.
Wait, he wasn't a Navi himself.
Chizkiyahu, he was.
So which Navi told me again?
Yeshayahu.
Ah.
Yeah, and then he says to me, you know what? You have a daughter. I have a daughter. I mean, I'm me. You have a daughter. Let's do a shidduch. The Navi says, "Ala imi v'ala rasi, chofshi. Let's do a shidduch." They did a COVID wedding in the backyard. Chizkiyahu was on crutches over there. No, I'm not joking, mamash. He was very sick. He was very sick when he got married. And then Hashem, because he was about to die. And then Hashem tells the Navi, tell them to take a paste out of dates. A paste. Out of dates, charoset. Take charoset, and you just made machalish me something big right now. Whatever. And he put it on him, and then he's gonna get up. And Hashem tells Chizkiyahu to ask for a sign. So Chizkiyahu says, what sign can I ask? He says, the sun, when it starts to set, right, what happens? It gets darker and darker. I want the sun to rewind. I want the day to get longer and longer, by a couple of hours or whatever it was. And it happened. How? You know, there was 15 stairs between the Ezrat Nashim and Ezrat Yisrael. There was 15 stairs. That's what every time the Levim used to go and open the doors, he would say one Shir LaMa'alot. There's 15 Shir LaMa'alot. They would say Shir LaMa'alot, go up a stair. Shir LaMa'alot, go up another stair till they would get to the last one. Then they would open up Sha'ar Nikanor. Chizkiyahu HaMelech's time, it wasn't called Sha'ar Nikanor. Whatever happened is that the sun, instead of setting, it went back to the beginning of the staircase, 15 degrees. Nebuchadnezzar, he's in Babylon over there, sleeping, eating, kaifavat.
He heard this.
He was this big he was, like this, like Indian pita. You ever seen Indian pita? Big, it's empty in the inside, but it's big like this. He said, "What's going on over here?" He said, "Oh, they told him. I don't know how they knew, but they said." There is over there in Eretz Yisrael one Rebbe, the Rebbe. And he made a miracle for him. Wow, we have to send delegation to him. They sent delegation to him. Delegation, entourage. To meet the king. Chizkiyahu.
The G7.
Yeah, I like that. Shemot Reshaim Mirkav. So they come to Chizkiyahu. Chizkiyahu was so excited. He does two mistakes. What? Number one, he tells his wife to be the waitress. And don't think that she was dressed like she was Tzanuwa, she was the daughter of Yeshayahu HaMelech. He made her be the waitress, and then he opened up the doors of the Heichal for them to see the Kruvim and the Parochet. So
To show
He
off.
got to show off. To show. No, you don't need. You're saying. You're saying for what? Let's see you be Chizkiyahu. They said he wanted to show the greatness of Am Yisrael. What? You need an excuse for that? And Hashem said to Yeshaya to tell Chizkiyahu, who are these people? Like Hashem doesn't know. He says, oh! Chizkiyahu tells him, Ba'u me'eretz rechoka! They came from a foreign land. Rashi says on the spot. Learn Rashi. He says over there, Hashem saw Chizkiyahu as a beautiful vase of besamim, but in it was full of urine.
He was tainted.
These are the words of Rashi. These are the words of Rashi. What are you going like this for? Like this. Must like this. Huh? The point was that he fell. It's such a dakut shebadakut. Such a
Like
what did he do already? What did he do? He did nothing. For us, it would have been a mitzvah.
It was like a pride.
For him, Hashem's right. Look at Rashi. Rashi on the pasuk in Sefer Malachim. It says over there, "Matzau chavit male meraglayim."
Because of this?
Because of this, he was Mashiach. Mashiach doesn't act
Also,
like
that's
that.
what losses Mashiach, because this is losses Mashiach.
It must have been the nail that broke the last nail in the coffin. Chizkiyahu HaMelech was not a simple
But he
man.
has good.
Chizkiyahu HaMelech was the Gilgul of Rabban Yochanan ben Zakkai. And he came back as Rabbi Chaim Vital. And who came up with all the Kitvei Ari? Rabbi Chaim Vital, who was Rabbi Akiva himself. You understand what I'm saying? It's not simple people were talking. When Rabban Yochanan ben Zakkai passed away, you know what he said? Prepare a seat for who? Chizkiyahu HaMelech. We all look at this Mishnah and be like, okay, Stam, he said it. He was in his old age, he said something. Ari says no, it was his Gilgul Neshama. It was his Shorish Neshama. I can't let you guys go tonight without saying something on Parashat Korach, or else I'll be stoned over here. So I'll tell you something. Some nice chidush, you guys never heard it, from the Ari HaKadosh. It says over here, Ki shiv'atayim yukam kain. Ki shiv'atayim yukam kain. I want to tell you something amazing from the parasha. I know it's something small, but I couldn't help myself with all we talked about so much stuff. Sometimes I get into that mode. And so you guys have to go with it. It says, Shivatayim yukam kain. Right? We all know that the Ba'avon sinat chinam nechrav habayit. In the Avon of baseless hatred, the Beit HaMikdash was destroyed. Now, not only the first, not only the second, also the first. Anyone who has any semblance of some yediyah of Tanakh knows that the first Beis HaMikdash, there was the whole time was what? There was a whole civil war for the whole time, almost the whole time.
The
almost.
10 and the 2.
Yeah, the 10 and the 2. And there was one small period that they were kudos, right? You make me say something. The king Yehoshaphat, which is Amari Stoudemire's name, took that name Yehoshaphat, right? He married his son to the daughter of Achav. Her name was Atalia. So nice, cute, yeah. Izebel is also good for you? I don't know. After I say the story, you're gonna say who on Atalia and say Izebel. Let's call yeah. Atalia. It's a beautiful name, huh? When her husband died, she had some nice chinuch from her father's house. Her father was Achav, her grandfather was Omri. That's a very famous Israeli name, Omri. You know who Omri was?
A good friend.
Why? A good friend of yours. She got up. She killed all of her sons, her young children, and her grandkids. So she could be the queen over Yehuda. There was one princess. She was married to the Kohen Gadol. Her name was Yehosheva. People don't know her. Everyone knows Elisheva, Bat-Sheva, but nobody knows Yehosheva. Nobody knows her. She saved Malchut Bet David. She took her small, brother, the youngest brother, he was in his crib. While Atalia sent all of her mercenaries to kill all of Malchut Beit David, and she hid him in the room on top of the Kodesh HaKodeshim. For 6 years he was hidden over there. And Yehoyada HaKohen fed him, that was his brother-in-law, fed him for 6 years.
Nobody knew.
He was 6 years old when he came out. 6 years. No gonna. What's this? Ever see a 6-year-old today? Yes, chokhmah. He just wants to see cartoons and eat for roll-ups. Well, what's a 6-year-old? At 6-year-old, they deemed him enough to go out and be king. He went out.
Who was that guy? Who was this?
His name was Yoash.
Yoash.
Yoash. He went out and he commanded an army to kill Atalia.
At 6 years old.
At 6 years old.
This is the time of the second temple?
Kakoi second temple, first temple we're talking about.
6 years old.
That was and then he killed Atalia. It was one of the greatest. When I used to read Tanakh, I still till today. When I used to read this episode, I used to have such satisfaction. When I used to read the pasuk, how they killed Atalia, it was such satisfaction to me. How they killed her. You know why David had to go through that, his descendants? Because when he caused the death of the city of Kohanim. Remember when he was running away from Shaul? He ate the bread. So what, he ate the bread? He was hungry. What? It's not like he's a pikuach nefesh. But because he was there, then Shaul came and said the whole city is Hayav Mitah, Mored Malchut. Hashem said to David, you caused, there's no, Hashem, everything is midah, keneged midah. Why did Korach go down into the earth? Why did he go down to the earth? How come he couldn't die by fire like the 250 people brought the Ketorah? How come he had to go down to the earth? Give me a pshat. Give me a pshat. You know this. Who was Korach? Cain. Who's Moshe? Hevel. Cain killed Hevel. What happened? V'tivla ha'aretz.
Right.
The earth swallowed him. Mida keneged mida. Now Hevel killed Cain. And what happened? V'tivla ha'aretz. Everything is mida. It's from the Ari HaKadosh, Sefer HaLikudim. Mida keneged mida. Unbelievable. And we over here, Rabbi Isai, we're the descendants of all those Nisi'im, all those Kedoshim, all those Tehorim. I want to say one more small thing about Datan V'Aviram. I was going to teach you guys a kavanah today, but I guess Od Chazon Lamoed. One small thing about Datan V'Aviram. It says about Datan V'Aviram, the Torah keeps on pointing them out. Korach v'Datan v'Aviram. In Tehillim, Korach, Datan v'Aviram. In some places it says Datan v'Aviram without Korach. As if Korach was taken by...
That was his sons, no?
No. Datan v'Aviram were the antagonists of Moshe Rabbeinu. They were the two brothers.
Half brothers, no?
From the... let's not get into the Midrashim. Asaf. This Datan v'Aviram, Abraham, what happened? The man who left over the man, who made a fight after we want water, Datan v'Aviram. They were the antagonists to always fight. Yeah, always instigators. Bukhara were the instigators. I also like the Jangalos, don't worry about it. I like it. What happened to Datan v'Aviram at the end? I'm asking you.
They went down the same way Korach went.
That's true. So we want a nice ending to them. Wow, well, you guys gonna let them get down to the earth like that? No. Let's learn something from the Ari. It's 4 lines, but it's so sweet. It's just these 4 lines. It answers so many stuff. It's. You know, this Sefer HaLikutim. Remember last week I told you guys about how Yehoshua. I'm telling you a crazy story right now. It happened to me personally. Yehoshua, his name was Hoshea, and he got his Yud from Sarai. Then I gave you guys the Chiddush that Sarai got the Yud from Chava. Originally her name was Chaya. Hi Haita Em Kol Chai. Right? You weren't here last week. That's why you gave me that face. Listen to the shit. So, somebody, texts me, says, listen, I don't understand it, this, that. I'm like, listen, I open up the Sefer Likutim. I remember I saw it over here. I'm like, listen, I'm going to send them the source. I'm not lying to you. 3 hours I was trying to find the source. I'm not lying to you. 3 hours. B'Shem Hashem, the Sefer Torah is over here. 3 hours I was trying to, I'm like, oh my God, am I crazy? Did I dream this? That Sarai was Chaya, which then turned into Chava? I said to myself, what's going on? I opened up Shara Psukim, I opened up Shara Alikutim, I opened up the Etzachayim. Like, where did I see it? I'm looking, Parashat Korach, Parashat Chayi Sarah, Parashat Shlach Lecha. I can't find the source. 3 hours I searched. I started to cry. You know what? And you look for something for so long and you just give up hope. I don't remember what happened. I came to the book. I'm like, I could swear, I saw it in this sefer. I took the sefer. It was closed. I said, Hashem Yitbarach, I'm opening up the sefer. I can't find it. Find it for me. I open up the sefer, and deep in my mind, I'm like, B'Shem Hashem. Boom! Right on the spot, I opened up to the source. It was in Sefer Melachim. I must have been opening up source to source to source to source, and I ended up in Sefer Melachim out of nowhere. And I'm looking up in Korach, in Chaye Sarah, in Bereshit. I'm looking,
wrong zip code.
and I'm looking, and I'm like, this is a miracle that happened to the. This is like, I couldn't believe it. And I said to myself, wow. If Hashem wants you to see something, to want something, to have something, if you really want it, you're gonna get it. And I'm not saying, no, Chas Shalom Shemot HaKodesh, this, that. I just asked Hashem, help me find. I opened up the Sefer, boom, it was right there. And I took a picture to send it. You could ask the guy after the Shir. I sent him at that time, you could tell it was like 12:30 in the morning. I was in the middle of learning Shari Ora. Don't think I just teach it to you guys. I learned it myself. I was learning Shari Ora. And he sends me the message. I'm like, he sends me the message. I'm going to send him the source. Let him break his head by himself. And I can't find it. 3 hours. I'm looking. I can't find it. And boom, it was mamash siyata d'shmaya. You don't know how my emunah was strengthened. Tonight I was supposed to go to a wedding. Tonight I was supposed to be at a wedding. Because of that story, I came to give the shiur tonight. The guy called me up, say, be an ed for me. It's a big kavod to be an ed, Ed, in my eyes, I learned Even Isaac. It's the highest level in the whole wedding, not the Mesader Kiddushin. Why? The ed is supposed to be the most kosher person at the wedding. He makes the whole wedding. If not for the ed, there is no wedding. You understand? Yeah, the Mesader Kiddushin is the kavod. But the ed, he makes the wedding. He doesn't see what's going on, and there's no chatunah. But I said no. After what happened, I said no. I'm gonna come and give the shiur because I felt such a like Hashem is with me in my limud. There's a famous story with Yam Shel Shlomo, of Shlomo Luria. They say he was the cousin of the Ari Kadosh. One day he was learning a Tosfot. Of Shlomo Luria. He was learning a Tosfot, and back then there was no electricity. We're talking about time with Ari Kadosh. They only had oil candles. He had no oil left to learn the Tosfot. He was learning a Tosfot Masechet Yibamot. He writes in his introduction, and the oil is about to go out, and he can't figure out the Tosfot. He says, Hashem, if you're with me in my limud, let the oil last till I figure out this Tosfot. It lasts them till the morning. And there was one big rabbi in his minyan. He got up for him when he came inside, and he said, I got up not for you, the Baalei Tosafot was coming in inside with you. Like this, obviously I wasn't like that, but like this I had that kind of haragasha, like, Mamash HaKadosh Baruch Hu is with me in my limud. That's the Kedusha B'limud Torah. What else is there in this world? To dance? What are you going to dance with? How much could you dance in your life? To drink? To eat? How much could you eat? How much could you drink? What could you do how much could you do in your life? How much? But the Kedusha, but the Torah is something unbelievable. I'm remembering where Uri Zohar. Anyways, we're digressing again. Let's read you this Datan v'Aviram over here. The two babas. Not Bobo, the two babas. Dar lecha, says the Ari. Ki Datan v'Aviram. Look over here. Datan v'Aviram nidgalgelu. They were the gilgulim of the two cows that Eliyahu HaNavi brought in Har HaKarmel. Datan v'Aviram came back When Eliyahu Hanavi came to bring back the Jews to Tshuva, Hashem said, go to Hara Carmel. There was no rain for 3 years. It was a crazy drought. And Hashem said to Eliyahu, go to Hara Carmel and make Kiddush Hashem. Hashem allowed him to bring a korban out Mount Carmel outside the Beit HaMikdash. It was a big miracle. And there was a test for 450 or 500 Nevi'ei Baal against one Navi. Navi Hashem. And each one said, whatever fire is going to come out from heaven and take the korban, he's the real God. The test happened. And I was to put it in perspective. That means the Nevi'ei Baal, they were sure that what? A fire was going to come out and take it. Or else they wouldn't have gone in for it. What? You're going to gamble if you know you're not going to win? At least a chance.
Yeah.
Fire coming out from heaven. That means you believe it's going to happen. When Eliyahu and Avid, when they brought the 2 calves, the Ari Kadosh says, those 2 calves were Datan and Aviram. They caused the Chilul Hashem in the Midbar. Now they're going to cause what? Kiddush Hashem. Veda. Ki Datan yoter haya memutak me'Aviram. Datan was purer than Aviram. There were 2 brothers. Remember Datan and Aviram? By the way, Datan and Aviram, they were also, Aviram, I believe, was the husband of Shlomit Bat Divri, who was taken by the Mitzri, who had a son, Ben Ish Mitzri, who cursed Hashem, who he said was the Gilgul of Oto Aish.
Come here to say hi to
Look how, yeah, exactly. Now, Datan was more memutak. Why? Datan is Gematria Ben Bat. If you take the Gematria of Ben Bat, it's going to be Datan. Aviram only has Av, but it also has Ram. Ram is haughtiness. It was his wife who caused all the Mishagas. Balagan. I like that. Okay. The Aviram says the Ari Hayoter Rasha. Aviram was Yoter Rasha. Velo ala Hashem. Datan was the calf that fell in Eliyahu Hanavi's portion. He's going to bring to Hashem. So it says in the Medrash that the calf ran to Eliyahu. When you're alive, you don't want to do a Kiddush Hashem, but when you're a calf, you run to do the Kiddush Hashem. Aviram didn't want to go to the Nevi'ei Baal. He didn't want to go, says the Ari. Lo ratza litkarev until Eliyahu Hanavi, ad shelachash lo Eliyahu zal be'odneh. He came to his ear and he said, Kishem shemitkadesh shem shamayim al yedei chaverecha. Just like there's going to be a Kiddush Hashem by the second calf, which is your brother. Ken yitkadesh shem shamayim al yadcha. So too there will be a Kiddush Hashem by you. V'shama mimenu, and he listened to him. V'natenu le'nevi'ei Baal, and the Nevi'ei Baal took him. V'nisrefu shneim, and they were both burnt. Kemo shenisrefu b'yimei Moshe, just like they were burnt in the days of Moshe. Now here's the kasha: they weren't burned in the days of Moshe. Weren't they taken alive into the earth?
Yeah.
What does the Midrash say? That the earth opened up b'makoma shel Gehenom. ושם נשרפו, and over there they were burned. ואלמלא כן, האח תתקן אנשים. How would they have fixed them? וזה מצאתי כתוב משם הרב. The Ari HaKadosh wrote this himself. Those were the Gilgulim of the Tan HaAriam. From here we see one more time, one more place, how there is midah keneged midah. If you cause the Chilul Hashem, you have to come and cause a Kiddush Hashem. V'ezeh Hashem yitbarach. The Chodesh Tammuz is coming. We started off with the Chodashim, we ended off with the Tan HaAriam, but this month is the Ayin Yamin. It's Keneged the Ayin Yamin. It's Keneged the right eye. This month is starting all the Pegama Einayim. This month and the next month. Av is the worst, but this month is the worst. Really, why? We know when Hashem's name, Yud, K, Vav, K, is like this, it's total chesed. Because in the right order. What would be the biggest din when it's K, Vav, K, Yud? That's the Chodesh Tammuz. The Ari HaKadosh brings down that the configuration of our month is K, Vav, K, Yud. Chodesh Av is what? The only month that we say Havaya. Havaya. We say Havaya because half of Av is bad, not bad, but half of Av is din. Half of Av is Rachamim, Chesed, Mitu B'Av and on. And it said the nights start to get shorter and shorter, And the nights start to get longer and longer, and the day gets shorter. And we know that Ikar Limud Torah is in the night, and not in the day. I want to suggest something to you guys. We know we're in the summer months right now. This month is the hardest month, by the way. From the configuration of Hashem's name, like I just told you, it's K, Vav, K, Yud. Now is the biggest test. Bavodat Hashem in personal life. Because right now is the biggest deen in the configuration of Hashem's name. But I want to suggest one thing. The Ari says there are certain months of the year where the Nishamot go up. One of them is in Chodesh Av. That means the Chodesh Tammuz, if there are preparation. I want to do Tikkun and Nishamot. The Read Uptai was Metach. I did it here twice, remember guys? I want to do it one more time, on a Sunday preferably. I'm just letting you guys know, so you guys could be mishtatef with me. It takes an hour and a half, 2 hours on Sunday afternoon. Now there's no school. We have a very big chance to do Tikkun Nishamot HaNiftarim. And we all know that the situation in New York is not the best situation right now. There's a lot of robberies with the bail reform law. There's a lot of bayot going on over here. A lot of shtuyot going on over here. And now there is elections. They overturn Roe versus Wade. What happened? Suddenly they chozer b'tshuva. But now the tum'ah of the America is coming out. You know, they say that abortion is not legal anymore. They overturn Roe versus Wade.
Not New York. It's legal in New York.
Federally, it's not legal, but it's up to the states to decide specifically on it. But federally, it's not. That means the federally cannot. It doesn't pay for it anymore. That means if the state wants to let it happen, it can let it happen. But federally, it was legal. It was legal federally. Roe versus Wade. It was a very famous thing. Now, how many days ago it happened? 3-4 days ago?
Today. Yesterday was the decision.
A couple of days ago. No, it was a couple of days, 2-3 days ago. It happened. They overturned Roe versus Wade, which is a very big thing. Like suddenly, they chazru b'tshuva. There's no more hereg. But at the same time, all the tum'ah is coming out right now. Like, how can you allow that? And interesting happens in their Pride Month. In their time where all the zevel is coming out, right? So we need a lot of tikkunim, a lot of stuff. Something interesting over here. It says over there by the Ari. It says with the Ketorah. It says utnu bahen ish. Right when the people started to die, when they told Moshe, you caused them to die with Korach, right? Then Moshe said to Aaron. Aaron didn't say anything. He said, take the Ketorah and put in it fire. He said tinu bahen ish. Tinu. The Ari says he put the nun in there, right? What's the nun? Because what's the letter before nun? Mem. What's the letter after nun? Samech. Samech mem. He said put the nun between the samech mem. Separate the samech and the mem. Separate the samech mem. Put the nun in the middle over there. Anyways, it's in the Sefer Alikutim. I don't want to get into it right now. It's a whole idea on the Ketorah, but boys, we have to do a couple tikkunim. Right now is the time to tikkunim. I want to get you guys ready this Sunday for Tikkun Nishamot HaNiftarim. I'm not going to charge you. Don't worry. It's for the Tikkun. The nun is the Ketorah. It's the Ketorah itself. It makes everything Samech Mem. Hashem be mezakeh et kulanu bברכה, הצלחה, פרנסה טובה, ישועות גדולות, רפואה שלמה, הצלחה, ברכה, הצלחה, מהדברי תורה ביום ויהיה נשמת נריה בן צפת לרפואה שלמה, שמעון שמשון חיים, בן מזל, לזכות יוסף הצדיק. Baruch Adonai Leolam, Amen ve'Amen. Rabbi Hanania ben Akashia, Amen. Today is also the Hilullah, Rabbi Hanania ben Akashia. Rabbi Hanania ben Akashia.